Hi, I'm Devaraj Southworth, CEO and co-founder of Thirstie, the leading e-commerce and data solutions provider for beverage alcohol brands in the US. I'm joined today by Alex Lacroix, co-founder of Siempre Spirits, producer of the award-winning Siempre Tequila. Welcome to the show, Alex.
Hey, thanks for having me. Pretty excited about it.
Awesome. So maybe to set the stage, the Are You Thirsty series in partnership with Park Street, it's a collection of informative interviews with Thirstie brand partners to discuss some insights, lessons learned, and best practices as they relate to e-commerce for beverage alcohol brands. You can find the full suite of Are You Thirsty videos within the Park Street University archives. So over the past year, we've seen tremendous growth in online sales across all industries. E-commerce really took off back in the mid-90s, and now you can buy pretty much everything online. However, due to the complex legal and regulatory laws governing beverage alcohol in the US, selling direct-to-consumer online has been slower than in many other industries, and commonly referred to as the final frontier for e-commerce. Regulations have not gone away, but solutions like Thirstie now provide a three-tier compliant way to sell liquor online and offer alcohol brands the data and level of insight into their consumer segments already utilized by every other major industry. I've invited Alex to join me today and talk about all the things he and his partners went through in determining the best way to start selling with e-commerce, the decisions that they made, the path of purchase, and all the optimizations of digital footprints and online. So Alex, perhaps start here. Can you tell us a little bit about the history, about the Siempre brand, and anecdotally, right, how your partners got to be where you are today?
Yeah, sure. I mean, long story short, I'm the lucky guy that fell in love with a Mexican girl. Started the company with $9,000 in a credit card 5 years ago. Figured worst case, we'd have a lot of tequila to drink. But I was a troublemaker. You know, I had a pretty awesome mom, but she worked like 500 jobs. My dad died when I was really young. Grew up in a tough part of town, and all my role models were troublemakers. You know, so I was actually, this is about almost a decade ago. I was sitting in a jail cell. My best friend had just got murdered. And it looked like life was kind of done for me. And I had also just had like a little daughter. She was 8 months old. And I just kind of sat there and I'm like, man, I got to be a role model for her. I grew up without a dad. It's either I go this way and life gets worse and worse and worse, and I end up where, you know, all my role models ended up, either dead or in jail, or I go this way and change and make a positive change. So I ended up getting bail, and throughout the course of the bail and trial and so on and so forth, I actually just never looked back and kept on going forward and making positive changes in my life. So I ended up working as a cable guy, getting my high school equivalency, ended up going to college for advertising, where I won a bunch of awards. I was 2 teachers' assistants. Like, if you open the door for me, I'm never gonna, so ended up working in the advertising business, where I met Monica, my partner, and I was working on all these awesome brands, doing television and billboard campaigns, a lot of it in the alcohol beverage space. And I was just looking at my paycheck and looking at, you know, the hours of time that we were spending every week, you know, working on all these brands and products. And we just figured, hey, let's take the little bit of money that we saved up and just, you know, take a leap of faith and see what we can do. So, you know, we lied to our distillery to make our first 150 cases, which was well below the minimum order. Said it was for a trade show. Brought it up to Canada, flipped it, and built it from there. Now we're a 25,000 case brand, available in 17 states. Hard focus on about 7 of them, and you know, we sell national in Canada, and it's just, you know, growing. We built the brand in the back of our tequila van. We actually built bunk beds and, you know, and RV stuff into it in the, you know, in the parking lots of Home Depots along the way. It's been a crazy ride.
Wow, that's a story. I'm serious. I'd love to see. Do you still have some of the photos of the old days?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the tequila van still exists, and we still use it. That's like a staple in the business now. It's like,
that's very cool. So the tequila spirits segment of the industry, you know, you're obviously, you know, no newcomer here, has seen tremendous activity with what seems like new brands hitting the market almost every month. IWSR has indicated that the segment is one of the industry's fastest growth segments. No arguments there. Can you highlight for us how you've been successful clawing your way against all the many tequila brands and many from larger conglomerates? I mean, your story is phenomenal. I haven't heard one quite like it. So I know you will be successful. There's no doubt in my mind, but I'm sure it's still a battle. There are large businesses that have brands that have the marketing dollars and what have you. But just love to hear if you can just share some of that with us.
Yeah, sure. I mean, the basic thinking is while they try to outspend you, you just outsmart them. And just coming from where we came from, just having the mentality of like nothing is a problem, obstacles or opportunities, and you got to use them to your advantage. And that mentality kind of like helped us, just relentless hard work, nonstop. And you put your blinders on and you forget about the competition. I think it's a coaching thing too in sports. It's like, forget about everybody around you, focus on what your product is and do your stuff. Because if you let the other guys drag you down by worrying about what this guy's doing and what that guy's doing, then you're never going to make it to where your North Star is. But at the very core of it, we welcome all the competition. It increases the category, like you said. And it's just more people exploring the tequila section. And, they might not try ours today, but they'll try ours tomorrow. And I think at the beginning, our main focus was create a product that stands out on the shelf. When we're looking at other tequila brands, and we love all tequilas, we just felt that a lot of them were very serious and weren't necessarily portraying like our vision of Mexico. Monica's grandmother and great grandmother used to make mezcal. She grew up by going back and forth, and I fell in love with Mexico somewhere in between all that. And it's just bright and vibrant and colorful and magical. And we felt like no brand was really bringing that vibe. So that's what we did. Like if you look at the bottle, it's very bright and vibrant. And these are the patterns and the colors that you see when you're walking around every day in the streets of Mexico. So packaging had to stand out and be bright and be different. And then the other part of that is, you can sell anybody a terrible product once, but if it's a good product, that they'll actually buy it again. So the juice had to be our absolute favorite. Our master distiller was a master distiller of Patron 20 years ago. He's like 76 years old, semi-retired. We worked with him to make something that we felt was truly unique. So when people taste it, they go, wow, I've never had this before. It's pretty awesome. And then they buy it again. Basic stuff.
No, it's fantastic. I mean, it's a story, right, for the ages, quite literally. What we're doing is try to embrace brands, to the best of our ability, stay in our niche, provide tools. As you know, e-commerce provides brands with that ability to interact directly with customers, which is obviously something important for a brand like yours, a brand of any size actually, but maybe more so. Can you speak a little bit about your decisioning process when deciding to launch your online digital storefront, maybe the criteria that was important, any lessons learned during the review of your digital launch?
Yeah, I think I can start off by saying that e-commerce for a spirits brand or for any brand is it's as close as you can get to actually being in the store, standing in the tequila section with your customers, and having your best, display set up in a retail store. This is it. And people shop online. The pandemic has transitioned a lot of people. We're in the age of Amazon where people see it, they want to buy it, they take it right away. So driving people to your website and having people be able to buy product off of your website is like having a distillery store. It's like virtual brick and mortar. So, in terms of criteria, to be able to control people's experience once they land on your site and they're actually shopping for your product, we had to be able to customize it as much as possible. Having a setup where it just seems like this seamless transition from your website to just your online shop is beautiful. But then the flip side of that is, how do you build it in such a way that people can buy from your shop, but you're not upsetting all of your retailers that you've built relationships with over the years? That was something that we were encountering. We were trying to figure it out is sure, we're selling online. But some of our retailers are upset because they're like, hey, you're taking my sales away from me. So when we did a lot of research and we looked into Thirstie in particular, we really appreciated that it sort of directed sales to retailers, and we were able to sort of continue that relationship and actually benefit them. You know, ultimately their sales are our success. So to be able to join the e-commerce like off of our site and what they're doing together was the most amazing thing. That and just the ability to get like a deep, a deeper level of analytics to understand our customers, and you know, it just seemed like you guys were hitting the check marks on that. So it was a big plus. We didn't even think it existed until we discovered you guys. To be honest, we have a we're pretty demanding, and you guys do more than what we expected. So it's pretty cool.
That's awfully kind of you. I mean, we're trying. We know we have a long way to go. I mean, we've been at this now for about 7 years, which is quite a while, right? They talk about overnight success being 7 years. I mean, I don't think we're there yet, but our industry is challenging, right? And building industry credibility and partnering with brands of all sizes that have tremendous leadership like yourselves is what me and my co-founder Max, you know, we love. I appreciate the kind words. It's something that we continue to endeavor to get better at and better at every day. But you know, you mentioned data and insights, and you know, that's something that we strive to provide for our brand partners. This is all par for the course for traditional CPG, but our industry is quite challenged due to 21st Amendment legislation that led to the 3-tier system. And you know, to be candid, right, compliance is also the centerpiece of what we've built, and making certain that we don't interject ourselves within the traditional supply path, right? And no one is getting disintermediated. Is it possible to maybe elaborate a little bit about what you've been able to glean from some of the dashboards that we provide and continue to optimize for you?
I mean, we're just getting started with you guys. You know, so I think that we're really anxious to get deep into it. From what we've seen, I think that it's just one of the most exciting parts about that is to be able to understand exactly who the online customer is that's purchasing our product. You know, who's lingering and not buying, who's actually buying, because you're you know, as a brand. Sometimes you speak to a certain customer thinking that that's your customer, but in reality, these are the ones that are buying. You know, so sometimes it's important to speak to the customer that's not buying yet. You know, like the millennial generation that can't necessarily afford that expensive bottle of tequila, but then you completely forget about your baby boomer that's buying that añejo bottle over and over and over again. And you can look at it and adjust or cater to them a little bit, like, you know, cater some messaging to them to be able to feed that that customer that you didn't even know existed. So that's what we're really excited about, because it's all about, you know, we have the ability to understand our customers so much more in this day and age, and the fact that there's actually a service that provides that is wicked. So we're pumped about that part.
Awesome. Yeah, and I know you just got started, so maybe that's a little premature. I jumped the gun there, but we're super excited about what that's going to do for your brand. So appreciate you spending some time with me here today and providing your thoughts as it relates to launching your branded e-commerce storefront. If you haven't tasted Siempre Tequila just yet, I strongly recommend you do so. And of course, you'll be able to order online via a local retailer by visiting shop.siempretequila.com. Alex, anything I missed? Any final comments you'd like to share?
No, I mean, you guys have been awesome. I think that we're just we're excited to get going, and we really look forward to seeing how this spirits business evolves and changes now that the e-commerce is very much a strong force within it. It's like the, you know, it's a new space. You're right. It's the final frontier, sort of, and we're glad to be along for the ride.
No, well, we appreciate you, and thank you very much for joining us, Alex. Anytime you want to come back, we'd love to have you. So thanks again.
Devaraj, thank you so much, man.
You got it.